While North America has possibly the best coaster collection in the world, there are still some unique and elite coasters in Europe and Asia that look incredible. In this video, we'll be ranking our top 14 international bucket list coasters outside of North America. Kicking off the list is Shambhala, a B&M Hyper at Aventura in Spain. This is the tallest B&M Hyper, with a drop measuring at 256 feet, putting it closer to Orion or Leviathan than Mako or Goliath. This is also the consensus #1 B&M Hyper coaster. This attraction has some huge camelbacks, a unique turnaround, and looks to have some solid airtime throughout the entire layout. The B&M Hyper is one of the best coaster models out there, and given that Shambhala is considered the best one, it had to make this list. Lech Coaster is a new age vekoma located at Legendia in Poland. This is probably Vekoma's best sit-down coaster they have ever built. The layout looks incredible, with quick transitions, moments of airtime, and inversions all packed in between moments of high positive Gs. In fact, Canobie Coaster compared the Gs on this coaster to Intimidator 305 for comparison. Lech Coaster also features a beyond vertical, twisting drop, which is just ridiculous. This drop is kind of in the mold of Expedition G-Force, but is even steeper. In addition, the attraction features a corkscrew through the station right above the loading platform, which is just awesome. Lech Coaster is the reason I've been asking for more new Vekoma coasters in North America in some of our other videos. For now, however, we will only have Circuit Breaker at Kodaland. Next on the list is our first RMC, this being Wildfire Kolmarden. This RMC topper track coaster is located at a zoo in Sweden, which I still can't believe. The signature element on this coaster is the turnaround before the drop, which picks up a good amount of speed before throwing you over the 161-foot, 83-degree drop. This coaster definitely utilizes the terrain and the amazing setting as it winds up and around the hill that it sits on. It features a stall, a whippy 0G roll, fast-paced transitions, and a plethora of airtime moments. I have been on Outlaw Run at Silver Dollar City, and while I thought it was a very good ride, it didn't blow me away. However, Wildfire is even more highly regarded than Outlaw Run, which is why it is on our radar. The number 11 spot on this list belongs to Egenika, the SNS 4th Dimension coaster at Fuji Highland in Japan. The 250-foot first drop facing the ground looks phenomenal, as well as that 0G roll while the seats rotate, and it seems to be one of the most intense and disorienting rides on the planet. It has over 3,700 feet of track and a top speed of 78 miles per hour, which just adds to the out-of-control experience. Riders are inverted 14 times during this attraction, and the park has actually claimed this ties Egenika with Smiler for the most inversions in the world. Whether or not Egenika has a legitimate claim to the inversion record or not, there's no doubt it is one of the most insane coaster experiences in the world. This isn't the only crazy ride at the park, however, as Fuji Highland also has Dododompa, which has the fastest accelerating launch in the world. Besides the launch, this ride doesn't offer much, which is why it's just an honorable mention here. Next, we have Karnan at Hansa Park. This is a coaster unlike anything in America or even anywhere else in the world. It's a Gerstlauer hyper coaster that has a wacky layout. Karnan has an indoor lift hill and a drop with a special element encased inside of it. Apparently, this element is best experienced without knowing what it is, so we will not be spoiling it. The heart element at the beginning looks like nothing we've ever experienced, and Karnan has airtime, hang time, laterals, and positives sprinkled throughout the layout. Enthusiasts rave about Karnan's intensity and the unconventional layout. To summarize, this thing looks absolutely ridiculous. That's why it's on this list. The number 9 spot on this list goes to Untamed at Walibi, Holland. Many people who have ridden this coaster claim it is like Steel Vengeance's little brother. I've also heard it said that Twisted Timbers is its closest comparison in America. It is a long ride and has the most inversions on an RMC. It is a conversion of the Vekoma wooden coaster, Robin Hood, and has a height of 119 feet, a length of over 3,500 feet, and a top speed of 57 miles per hour. It has a very unique layout, featuring a double inverting stall, an extremely drawn-out 0G roll, many small bunny hills, and large camelbacks. Again, I'm drawn to some of the unique elements on this ride, including that double inverting stall, and it figures to have the power that we have come to expect from RMC. Going back to Japan, we have Hakugei at Nagashima Spyland, an RMC hybrid conversion of the former White Cyclone. This coaster is just stunning to look at. The massive white support structure against the bright blue track looks amazing. I'd argue that it is the best looking coaster in the world. Besides the colors, Hakugei has a height of 180 feet, over 5,000 feet of track, and a top speed of 66 miles per hour. Many enthusiasts praise the ride for having some of the best airtime on a hybrid and how long of a ride it is, with some enthusiasts in fact naming it as their favorite RMC. Taking the number 7 spot is Taiga, an intimate multi-launch at Lynn and Maki. This attraction features 3,600 feet of track and a very compact layout. Like other intimate multi-launch coasters such as Maverick and Velocicoaster, Taiga is a jack of all trades, featuring some decently powerful launches, airtime, positive Gs, laterals, and inversions. In fact, this is one of the highest rated coasters in all of Europe. Plus it features Intamin's awesome new generation trains. All in all, Taiga looks like another Intamin multi-launch with an awesome layout. The only reason the attraction isn't higher on this list is because it doesn't necessarily have the uniqueness factor of some of the coasters higher on this list. Following Taiga is Fly at Phantasialand. Similar to Karnan, this vekoma flying coaster doesn't have a counterpart here in America. It features 2 inversions, launches, multiple airtime hills, and 4,300 feet of track, making it the longest flying coaster in the world. Fly is one of the best themed coasters I've ever seen, which is why it looks like such a fun experience from start to finish. And it has a more comfortable and quicker loading procedure than B&M Flyers, not to mention more comfortable restraints. Plus, it has airtime on a flying coaster. Fly is an attraction that just seems to have the right balance of uniqueness, theming, thrill factor, and re-rideability. While this might not be as good of a ride overall as Taiga or Untamed, for example, the uniqueness of Fly is the reason it is so high on this list. There's simply nothing like it in North America. Heading to Energylandia, we have Hyperion, another Intamin mega coaster. This ride is massive. It has a height of 253 feet with a drop of 269 feet. I've heard that this is one of the best first drops in the world, with it being almost as intense as Skyrush's drop and as sustained as Millennium Force. Besides the drop, this coaster features many other moments of ejector airtime, including a massive camelback, a dive loop, and a wave turn. Hyperion has 2 distinct sections, with a large out and back at the start and ending with a low-to-the-ground twister section. Like most of the other coasters on this list, Hyperion has a great color scheme. Overall, this attraction looks like it has another masterful Intamin layout. Going to Australia for their first coaster on this list is DC Rivals Hypercoaster. Just like Hakugei, this coaster is stunning to look at. Its pink track and dark gray supports are incredible. This mock creation features a height of 202 feet, a length of over 4,500 feet, and a max speed of 71 miles per hour. It has a near vertical twisted drop which gives a great dose of laterals and airtime. Besides the drop, this mock coaster has a non-inverting loop and over 15 different airtime moments. Plus, it has a backwards facing seat. It's really too bad that this is one of the only great coasters in Australia because it looks phenomenal. Before we head to our top 3, I'd ask that you please consider subscribing or dropping a thumbs up if you are enjoying this video, as it really does help the channel out. Energylandia's final coaster on this list is Zadra, an RMC hyper hybrid. This is one of the best paced RMC creations in the world, and I can see why. It absolutely flies through the layout. Every element is taken at a blistering pace, and there are no dead spots. This ground up RMC has a height of 206 feet, a max speed of 75 miles per hour, and a length of over 4,300 feet. The ride that this is most similar to in the United States is obviously Iron Gwazi at Busch Gardens Tampa. Both are hyper hybrids with RMC's Trust Lift Hill, and both are not necessarily focused on airtime, but also on quick transitions and breakneck pacing. RMC's first ground up iBox coaster is their highest on the list. Our final Intamin coaster on this list is Kondaa, an Intamin mega coaster located at Walibi, Belgium. I love how manufacturers are starting to take inspiration from other manufacturers, especially with RMC being on top of their game right now and bringing in some elements we hadn't seen before. We are starting to see Intamin incorporate RMC inspired elements into their own attractions, and we can really see that with Intamin's new gen multi-launches and mega coasters. Kondaa features a 164-foot twisted drop, which looks to deliver incredible airtime and laterals. It has a max speed of 70 miles per hour and a length of nearly 4,000 feet. The layout looks like a masterpiece, with a mix of airtime on the large camelbacks and awesome outer bank, and low-to-the-ground elements including some off-axis and speed hills. The non-inverting Cobra roll looks cool, but it is apparently kinda forceless. However, the rest of Kondaa's layout is what propels it to the number 2 spot on this list. Before we get to the top spot on this list, we wanted to shout out 2 Intamin multi-launches that have yet to open: Gotham City Escape at Parque Warner Madrid and Two Tatis at Parque Asterix. Both of these coasters look to have amazing layouts and great forces, but since they aren't open yet, we didn't want to give them a spot. For our final spot and our number 1 bucket list coaster, we have Ride to Happiness at Plopsaland in Belgium. This mock xtreme spinner is similar to Egenica in the fact that it takes a ride model first installed in the US and makes it way more extreme. Ride to Happiness has 6 inversions, including a JoJo roll, flying snake dive, banana roll, a vertical loop, and a 0G roll. It also features 2 launches, a top hat, and many airtime hills. This ride just looks like absolute insanity. The layout would be good, but when you throw in the spinning factor, it just makes it so much better. and it has theming to go with it. Ride to Happiness really is the full package, and that is why it is our top bucket list coaster.